This new plan for the military to propagandize their own people came on the heels of a controversial and bizarre propaganda training mission in which the military forged letters from the Nova Scotia government to warn the public that wolves were wandering in the province. What the fuck was that? This past October, a forged letter warning about wolves on the loose turned out to be part of a Canadian Forces propaganda campaign that went awry. Yes, they created a fake warning about wolves and sent it out to a bunch of Canadians to see how people would react. And then they claimed they didn't mean to. That's not something you can do accidentally. It's not like tripping on a stair or spilling ketchup or knocking someone up. This takes time and thought and shit like that. But it wasn't even just sending out fake letters. Department of National Defense spokesman Dan LeBoutillier said the fake letter wasn't meant to be released. He said he didn't know why the loudspeaker was set up to transmit wolf sounds, and that will be investigated as well. You put a loudspeaker to play wolf sounds out over the town? Are you fucking insane? The only howls emanating from a horny beast and echoing through towns in North America are supposed to come from Wolf Blitzer himself. It's in his contract at CNN. Let's not forget the Canadian Armed Forces probably got this desire to blanket their own people with propaganda when they saw that the U.S. gets to do it. Back in 2013, U.S. government-funded domestic propaganda officially hit the airwaves, unleashing thousands of hours per week of government-funded radio and TV programs for domestic U.S. consumption. In 2013, the U.S. Congress basically undid the Smith-Mundt Act of 1948 that specifically prohibited U.S. organizations from using information warfare to influence the public opinion of Americans. Nowadays, it's quite commonplace. Hence the completely laughable Russiagate. Hence Trump's new plan to rewrite history.
Okay, YouTubers, this is The Angry Prepper. So today's episode, we're going to talk about Biden's anti-freedom team. Now, it's supposed to be his transition team, but we're going to talk about how anti-freedom these people are. Now, keep in mind, guys, when people make certain announcements, sometimes they'll pull them back, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they throw the idea out there and they just try to see how far it can float before someone shoots it down. So keep that in mind. Now, Biden did walk back his lockdown, his nationwide lockdown, obviously, because his doctors floated that out there, and now that he walked it back, Biden himself walked it back. So, okay, the idea is still out there, so keep that in mind, or keep it in the back of your head. So, let's start with the first one. Before we start with the first anti-freedom member, let's start out with freedom of speech, guys, has been under attack for a few years now. Right? So it seems to be that anytime you say something somebody doesn't like, especially if you're a celebrity, they want to cancel you. Okay. They don't like what Chris Pratt, who's never said a word. Oh, they don't like him because he goes to a church that might be homophobic or anti-gay or whatever the fucking bullshit lingo they use now. And they want to cancel him. Meanwhile, the guy's never said anything, and his church actually has never been founded on those accusations. But yet they still wanted to cancel him and get rid of him from Guardian of the Galaxies and the next Indiana Jones movie and the next Jurassic Park movie. They're trying to cancel this man's career just because of a church he's affiliated with who still has been unfounded. Their anti-gay bullshit's been unfounded, right? So now, he's not even saying anything and they're attacking him. They attack people just for attending churches because the pastor might think differently. The pastor might say something as simple as, I don't believe in gay marriage. Right then and there, they're attacking his free speech and his opinion on gay marriage. So, whatever you have to say now, you're being attacked. Oh my God, you can't say that only women have period. That's homophobic. That's anti-transgender or transphobic. If you say only women can get pregnant, they attack you for that. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, only women can get pregnant. Let's clear that up right now. Only women can have periods. Only women can have menstrual cramps. All right? So let's get that out there right now. Now, that being said, and I do not care if this video gets demonetized, guys. I really don't. All right? So I'm going to say what I'm going to say in this video because some people need to fucking hear it. Enough already with the bullshit. If somebody has an opinion you don't like, you can say, oh, okay, and walk away, or, all right, man, you're an asshole, and walk away. But destroying their careers because you don't believe in their ideology, or they don't believe in your ideology, rather, you attack them. That's bullshit, and that's where freedom of speech is taking a hit. Enter Richard Stengel. Richard Stengel is an American editor, if you will, a journalist. He says that freedom of speech should be redefined, and that hate speech should be made a crime. So, hate speech should be made a crime. So if somebody sat there and said, listen, only women can have periods, that's why Tampax are for women, that can be considered a hate speech because the trans community will make it so. And not all of them, guys. Let's get that out of the way. Not all transgender people, not all gay people think the same. But there is a large community out there that will fight you tooth and nail. And that community, the idiots, the psychopaths, the people who want to be heard but don't want to hear you, they'll attack you for saying Tampax are for women or tampons are for women, right? And so they can make that a hate speech and possibly throw you in jail, according to this guy, Richard Stengel. Okay, so now keep that in mind, guys, that the anti-freedom team that he's putting together is insane. Insane, all right? The guy, Richard Stengel, goes as far as to say, well, Imam, which is like a Muslim priest, if you will, asked me, why do people burn the Quran in the U.S.? Or why should it be okay for people to burn the Quran? Why is that part of freedom of speech? And I'm paraphrasing. Richard Stengel's reaction was like, wow, he's right. Why? Why should it be? Well, people burn the Bible, and people burn the American flag. Are we going to make that a hate speech? Americans are a specific type of people who live in America. If you're burning the American flag, that can be considered a hate speech. This is me thinking like them, all right? So now if you're burning the American flag, can't we just make that a hate crime because they're hating Americans? Because Americans is a type of people. We are. We're different from people in the UK. We are different from people in Australia. And we're different from people in Africa. But we're not going to go that far. We're not idiots like that. But this is the left and their bullshit. So, keep that in mind. If this Richard Stengel guy stays on Biden's transition team. He stays on Biden's transition team, guys. We're going to have a problem because he's going to start pushing his bullshit agenda. He's going to start protecting this group and that group, but not this group and that group. Get what I'm saying? Our freedom of speech is under attack, and it's going to be under attack in a big way should this guy stay on Biden's transition team and Biden makes him the head of U.S. media or something like that. I forgot what the real name was, but the head of U.S. media, government media, something like that. He puts him in charge, we're screwed. And if he puts him in charge, we're going to have to fight. Not that we're screwed, sorry. We're going to have to fight, guys, because that is the fight of your life. Freedom of speech being taken away, we've seen that before, and I'm pretty sure it's called fucking Germany, okay? And people weren't allowed to speak out against Hitler, or you were thrown in with the Jews, or you were put in another camp. Here's the other issue, guys, the other anti-freedom move. Biden has said himself on national TV that he was going to mandate mask wearing nationwide. Now, as far as fines and getting in trouble and going to jail goes, that wasn't mentioned, but he said he was going to mandate it. So I guess if he mandated, people can then, walking down the street, say some shit to you. Oh, you better put your mask on, it's mandated by Biden. I'd tell him, go fuck yourself. Simple as that. But this is where it gets interesting. If he mandates the mask, now people are going to be more brazen to say some shit to you. Now, a lady the other day, I'm not saying it's right, but a 60-year-old lady the other day got her ass handed to her because she said something to two kids about wearing a mask while they were on the subway. Now, in the subway, in the MTA system, you're supposed to put a mask on. I'm not, but you're supposed to. So now, the lady said something to these two kids, and instead of the two kids doing the right thing and ignoring her and walking away, they kicked the shit out of her. You might have more of that going on, guys, if you start talking out of your face. If you start telling people to do some shit that they don't want to do, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a lot more fighting. So, The mask, me personally, should be a personal responsibility. If you want to wear it, fine. If you don't, fine. Should not be making people wear something they don't want to wear. Because, fuck you. This is America. This is a free country. You're starting to take freedoms away. Hence, anti-freedom. They're telling you what to do and how to do it and when to do it. Now we're sitting here. And listen, guys, as preppers, we prep to some shit like this. This is why I talk about it on my channel. Because we're watching the demise or the possible demise of a country because of the shit leadership out there. Cuomo, Biden, if you will, de Blasio, Kamala Harris, the other governor, Whitmer. These assholes are running our state, city, and country. They're trying to take away our freedom, guys, and they're doing it by using public health as the excuse. Mask mandate, again, is bullshit, so you got to be aware of where you're going. Obviously, if you're going into a store has more rights because it's their store. I get that. But for them to tell us you have to wear a mask just to walk around in a park, camping, hiking, whatever it is, you got to wear a mask now? That's out. So they can kill that idea, and I would say that some of you do what you want. I'm not saying don't wear the mask. I'm not saying wear the mask. I'm saying do what you want. All right, next on the list, mandatory vaccines. Now, as of right now, guys, no one is making vaccines mandatory. No one's even talking about it except for the New York State Bar Association. They put in a resolution about a week ago, and I spoke about this in one of my videos, 2 videos ago. They put in a resolution mandating people to take the COVID vaccination. But it was a recommendation. It wasn't an ironclad, you guys have to do this. It's a recommendation for them to push up the ladder, if you will, to the New York State governor. So it was just a recommendation. Here's the problem. When you get a bunch of lawyer nerds sitting around a table going, let's see how we could piss off the rest of the fucking public. Let's mandate a resolution. Let's put a resolution together mandating people to get a vaccine. Keep in mind it was a recommendation. It wasn't an ironclad rule. So I know a lot of people are talking about that, and a lot of people have gotten it wrong. Now, I touched on it, and when I looked at the video again, I'm like, maybe I should have explained it a little more. So here's me explaining a little more what the New York State Bar Association did. So what they did was, in the resolution, guys, right? In the resolution recommendation, if you will, there is a limitation to that resolution. The limitation is, if the public doesn't voluntarily take the vaccine and the immunity factor doesn't reach where it needs to be, then the states or state, New York State, can mandate a vaccine for everyone. So it didn't just say kids, it said everyone in New York State, or everyone in the country, sorry, not New York State, in the country. So if enough people don't take the vaccine, they're recommending that people or states, make it mandatory that you take the vaccine. So let's make that clear. It's not that they're saying right out of the gates when the vaccine becomes available, you're taking it. No. If the immunity level doesn't reach where it needs to be, that they mandate everyone to take it. Which is, again, going to be a hard fucking no with a lot of states. It's going to be a hard no with a lot of people. People, thank God, guys. I mean, thank God with today that there are not a lot of dummies out there. A lot of people are saying there's no way I'm taking the vaccine. There are people who are pro-vaccine who are saying, I'm not taking that vaccine. It only took 9 months, less than 9 months for them to develop it. So, read an article on a lady talking about the RNA portion of the vaccine and how it's safe because it breaks down so easily if it doesn't attach itself to the receptors that need to be attached to affect the COVID. She goes on this whole thing in the article about, well, the RNA is safe, the vaccine should be safe. Keep in mind, guys, keyword is should be safe. People shouldn't have a problem taking it. And at the last part of the article, I gotta find the article again. And this is a doctor, by the way, a scientist doctor who's explaining this. And at the last part of the article, she goes, they ask her, will you take the vaccine? She says, no, I have to see where it goes first. Bitch, You just sat there and told us it was safe and there's no reason for us to worry. And the last part of the article, she goes, no, I'm not taking it. I have to see where it goes. I have to see how effective it is what she said. Well, if a fucking doctor that just sat through a whole interview telling us how good it was, how safe it was, at the end goes, no, she's not taking it. Guys, you better wake the fuck up. You better not take it either. Now, I get it. Some of you are going to be between a rock and a hard place with your job. Some of you are going to have to take this vaccine. And some of you are going to make the hard decision and quit. Just know that. You're going to be put between a rock and a hard place with this vaccine. It might not be as soon as it come out, guys. It might be 2 years or 3 years from now. But you will be put between a rock and a hard place when it comes to choosing whether or not to take this vaccine.
Now, a little bit from the beginning right here, Governor Andrew Cuomo giving this update on the latest of COVID-19 in his state.
These are dangerous times that we're in. The COVID rate, number of deaths, number of hospitalizations, everything we watch all day on TV is all a function of our actions, right? There is no predetermined result here. It is a result of our actions, period. You tell me what New Yorkers do today, I will tell you the infection rate tomorrow. It's a direct result. We are in a place now where there is a bad synergy. People are talking about Thanksgiving, what's going to happen by Thanksgiving. It's not just about Thanksgiving. There is a sense of COVID fatigue, they call it. We're social beings. We enjoy other beings. Isolation is depressing. COVID fatigue. I don't want to do this anymore. Well, there's a vaccine. It's over. There's a vaccine. Seize anything you can as a rationalization. There's a vaccine. We're going to get it in a few weeks. I don't have to worry about it. You put that together with the fact that the cases are already on the increase. And we are now coming into the high social season. Thanksgiving, Christmas is the high social season. Social activity goes way up in this season. That is a bad combination. And it is always the combination of events that creates the major issues. This is a toxic cocktail of dynamics and facts. First, we are already in a bad period. Before you get to Thanksgiving, we are already in a bad period. The last 3 weeks, the number of hospitalizations has gone from 1,200 to 2,700. That is a 122% increase. Okay? Factor that out for the next 3 weeks, same rate of increase we've had for the past 3 weeks. Factor out that rate of increase, okay? Forget Thanksgiving, forget everything else. Just factor out the current rate of increase. You know where we are in 3 weeks? 6,000 cases. Do you get that? 6,000 cases by the current rate of increase. That's before we go into 37 days of the highest socialization period of the year. If nothing else affects it, you go up to 6,000 cases if you don't get it down. But you're going into the period of high socialization. You put that rate of increase together with an additional increase from the high level of social activity, that is a dangerous situation. And that is exactly where we are going. And let's make sure we understand the facts. Well, New York State is only a 3% infection rate. It has one of the lowest infection rates in the United States. We're fine. We're fine. We're only at 3%. Yes, you're right. We're only at 3%. Only Vermont, Maine, and Hawaii are lower than us. But that can change in an instant. And remember how we got here. It took a lot of effort and a lot of pain to get to this point. How quickly can we forget what we just went through several months ago? We went to 3%. We got down to 3% because we went through the New York Pause Plan, which had never been done before, required tremendous energy and effort and loss and pain. We were at a 50% infection rate. 50%. And we brought it down from 50% to 1% through a tremendous, unprecedented effort. How do you forget all the pain that we went through? And we have to remember that, because if we're not careful, we will go back there. Do you remember having such a loss of life that we overwhelmed the cemeteries and the funeral homes? And we were storing bodies in refrigerated trucks?